Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Louisa. So I've gotten a lot of requests to put a tutorial together. So I haven't had the time to do it, but I thought I would just go ahead and do that today for you. Anyway, it's going to be a little bit different because I actually don't have a plan, believe it or not. I'm just going to sit down and we're going to look at everything that I have, all the links, all the components, chain, everything that I have. We're going to choose a few items and do a design layout, and then we'll go from there and build something together. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this tutorial. Okay everybody, so here we are at the preliminary stages of designing our necklace. We have a blank canvas in front of us, as you can see. When you don't have a plan, which we don't, one of the best things to do is to put something down on paper so you can have some idea of how to start. So today I decided we're going to do a necklace. And anyway, so let's go ahead and put something down on paper just so we can get some idea of what we're going to do. So obviously it's a necklace. I want to make sure that I hang a pendant of some sort, some kind of focal bead. So we're going to go ahead and place the focal bead right here, and it doesn't have to be an oval. It can be a square, it can be a circle. At this point we really don't know. And then from this pendant I always like to hang either a tassel or another decorative bead, and maybe a third element below it. So anyway, I know I'm going to do a pendant necklace. So here's my initial design. It's not anything fancy or detailed. This is just to get something on paper. And then from this pendant, I think I'm going to go ahead and hang a little bit of chain, not too much. So this represents the chain. Okay, and then from this chain, I'm going to have a series of beads. And at this point, I don't know what they're going to be, but I'm just going to put something down really quick. So we're going to start maybe with some little beads, and then some bigger beads, and then another larger one, or some kind of connector link or something there, and then some smaller ones graduating down in size. Same thing over here, larger one, and then smaller ones coming down, and then maybe we'll put some more chain beyond that, and then maybe we'll hang some other kind of decorative bead or some other element right there, and then perhaps a little bit more chain at the top, and then either we're going to do a lobster clasp or a toggle clasp. At this point we really don't know. So anyway, here it is. This just gives you some idea of how we're going to do this. It's always good when you don't have a plan to put it down on paper, and then once you get all your elements together, you can decide at that point what you're going to do, whether it's a pendant, whether it's some kind of stone. I don't know at this point. So anyway, this is the initial process when you don't have a plan. And so now we're going to take a look at all the items that I have. Whether it's spacer beads, whether it's pendants, connector links, whatever it is. I know I'm going to use chain, and I do have some chain in front of me. I have two spools. One is like a coppery color. I don't know if it'll be copper, silver, gold. We don't know at this point. And then I have another one that's like a bronzy color. So anyway, this is how to do it. And so the next step is to go look at the items, and then we'll make a decision how it's going to look and what colors we're going to use. So first thing is first, I've got my storage bin that contains pendants and charms. We're going to go ahead and select the focal pendant, and I think I'm going to try to use some kind of a metallic pendant today. So here's my box with all the little components, and I'm seeing a lot of nice things. But this one looks really promising because remember we said we were going to hang something from the pendant. So this one actually looks really nice and it's a coppery color. So I think I'm going to use this one. I'm not sure yet. Let's put this one aside. I've got this whole bag of, looks like, yeah, they can either be charms or pendants. I see a lot of nice elements in there. Let's see what this one is. This is another nice one. It looks like another type of pendant where you can hang something from it. So let's open it up and take a quick peek and see what this one looks like. But I think I like the other one better. So yeah, I'm not gonna, oh, here's another nice one. Let me see, this is a coppery color as well. And it looks like a flower kind of a pattern with the link at the top and the bottom so I can dangle something from below. So I don't know, what do you guys think? This is a flower, so it's more specific. So whatever if I use connectors and such, then I have to make sure they coordinate. Whereas this is more of a filigree kind of a pattern. I think it's probably easier to work with this one. So I'm going to go ahead, I think we're going to go ahead and choose this one. So let me put this one back in the bag and we'll pull one of these out. This will be our focal bead. And then I'm going to need something to dangle underneath it. And it can be either a charm of some sort, or it can be another bead. So I think I'm going to go ahead and maybe choose, I don't know, some kind of a bead perhaps. Yeah, I think I'm going to choose a bead. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one away, and we'll go ahead and try to look for some other kind of focal bead to hang below that main pendant. Okay, so here's the storage bin that contains the links and components. So let's go ahead and open this one up and see what we can find. Okay, so I know that I want to hang something below this beautiful pendant. So at this point, I'm not sure if it's going to be some other kind of metal connector link or a bead of some sort, or both. But I do know, based on the design, that I'm going to need something here as well. So I think this might be a good place to put maybe a metal connector. So let's see if we can find something that's coppery in color that would go well with the pendant. Let's see what we got here. A lot of these are not copper, so it's got to be copper. And let's see what I got in this big bag. Sorry about the plastic noise. So these are some connector links in different colors. That's a brassy color. Here's one that's copper that might work well. And it doesn't look too bad up against this pendant. But I'm thinking maybe to use this one along the necklace where the beads are going to be. So let's go ahead and open it up, take a look. But I think this might be nice to use along where the chain is going to be. So yeah, this is a nice, it doesn't look too bad with a pendant. So let's go ahead and maybe choose 4 for now, because I don't know exactly what we're going to do yet. So let's just choose 4, and if we need more later or less, it won't matter. We'll just get some more. So that'll be for the necklace. I need something now to hang below the pendant. Let's see what we got. I'm looking for something that's coppery colored. That's a bronze color. That's not going to work. Oh, here we go. Here's one. Here's a collection of links. And when I got these, I thought they were beautiful. The only problem with these, and I don't even know where I got them. I can't remember where I got them. Maybe it was Bargain Bead Box. I'm not sure. Or it's sister site, the beadboxbargain.com. So, but the only problem with these, they're beautiful, but they're hollow in the back. So what I did, I think I still have some in the bag. I glued 2 of them together. So let me see if I can find the one that I glued. Pretty sure I did that. I think this one is, yeah, this one. This one looks like it's glued. Yeah. So anyway, what do you think about hanging this below this pendant? I think that would be real pretty. Same coppery color. And then I'll just hang something else from this component, maybe a bead. So yeah, we'll use that one. And now all we need to do is select the beads. Okay, so for this segment right here, I think it would be a great idea to put some really tiny metal bead somewhere in here. Maybe perhaps one of the first ones can be a metal spacer bead. And I know I have some copper spacer beads in my storage bin, my spacer bead storage bin. So let's go ahead and open it up and see if we can find the beads that I was thinking about. Most of these are silver and bronze, maybe gold ones as well, but what I need is a bronzy colored bead, and I know I have the beads that I'm thinking about. I think these are the ones. Yeah, here they are. All right, so here they are. I think these would work really well in that space where we're going to put the beads, the series of beads. So anyway, yeah, I'll put these aside. And so now I'm thinking maybe some 4mm beads as well, and maybe a large 6 or 8mm bead right there. So let me put this away and we'll go ahead and look at the larger beads and see if we can find something nice. All right, so here's the container where I put all of my 4mm beads, and I have tons. I have way too many. So I think what I want to continue the coppery kind of theme. So I think these are really pretty. They look really nice against those copper spacer beads. So yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and use a couple of these. And so now we're going to move on to the next size, which I labeled miscellaneous crystals. And the reason I labeled it miscellaneous crystals is because they're not round, and they're not bicones, and they're not rondelles. They're cubes or other type of shape, you know, teardrop shape, different kinds of shapes. So I bought a string at the International Gem and Jewelry Show. Here it is. Very pretty. It has some bronze in it. And I think even though it's not copper, it's still really nice. It'll add a different color to the whole design. So, you know, just because I decided the pendant was going to be copper doesn't mean that the rest of the beads have to be the same. So you can use all kinds of colors. You can use bronzes, you can use blue tones, anything really. So I like the shape of these. I think these would look good up against the 4mm bead. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one aside. We're going to use this one. And so now I need a much larger bead, and I'm thinking maybe 8mm. So I'll go ahead and get my bin and take a look and see what we have in there. Okay, so this bin contains 8mm and 10mm beads. I don't have a whole lot of them because most of my larger beads are gemstones, but I have some, and I have a collection here that looks promising. There's a couple of colors in there. I don't mind, you know, venturing out and moving away from copper or bronze. But let's have a look at some of these because there's a couple of interesting ones here. I don't want to use anything that's too bright. I could use a red for a bit of a splash of color. That would be nice. I could go more conservative and use this type of bead. But I'm thinking, let's see, we've got purple as well. That would look lovely as well. So maybe the purple might be nice with the copper pendant. But I'm thinking more red. That's what I'm thinking. So let's go ahead and pull this one aside, and yeah, this one's going to be really nice. Actually, I just saw something. These are actually interesting. These might look really cool with what we have already. Yeah, this one's actually very pretty. It's a bronzy color, but it has a little bit of copper tone in it. And I think it would look really nice with these beads. What do you think? It's interesting. It's got some other crystals glued to it. So yeah, I think this one would work really well. So yeah, let's use this one, and I'll grab 2 of them, or just the whole packet, because I really don't know what I'm going to use yet, and we'll put this one aside. I almost forgot. We have to put aside some findings, some jump rings, some head pins, eye pins. So here's my box with all the jump rings and such. And yes, this one's copper, and it's 18 gauge, which I love to use. If you want to have something sturdy, try to find jump rings that are 18 gauge, because they will never fail, I can guarantee. So let's go ahead and put that one aside. And then I also need some head pins. There are some copper colored ones in here, I believe. Yeah, there are some copper colored ones in this little packet. So we'll put this one aside. And I think that's it. I don't know if we'll need some large jump rings for the pendant, but these are larger, so I'm going to go ahead and put this one aside as well. And I think that's about it. Actually, this one's got some copper colored jump rings that are easy to find, as far as, and there's a variety of sizes. So let's put this one aside. Now, one thing I did want to show you, I wanted to show you this large container full of head pins. And head pins can be pretty pricey, but if you buy them in bulk I think I got it from Pendant. They're not the best of quality, and some of them are bent, but you can always straighten them. But what I do with these head pins, I make my own eye pins. So I take a head pin and I use the one-step looper tool. Let me just show you what that looks like. This tool right here. And I use this one to make head pins, and it turns out to be so much more economical to buy a large bag of these pins, and then head pins, and then make your own eye pins. So I wanted to show you guys this. I don't see any copper in here though. These are all silver, gold, and bronze. So sometimes I use bronze with copper colored elements, but I think I'm just going to go ahead. I don't think I'm going to need too many, so I'm going to go ahead and use these here. So I wanted to show you this box because, yeah, it's just a very cheap way to make your own eye pins. All right, so I've already started the layout, the design layout. It's critical that you do this, because then if you know what you're doing, then you don't have to be worried about doing the wrong thing and then undoing the work and restarting all over again. So as you can see, I placed the large pendant bead here, and below that this beautiful, it's square in shape, but I'm going to hang it like this, filigree style bead component, I should say. That's going to go underneath, and then underneath that I'm going to place this odd shaped bead, check bead that I got at the International Gem and Jewelry Show this past weekend. I'm going to hang that underneath that with maybe some kind of a head pin. And then chain is going to come off this loop here, and I'm going to attach the chain with a couple of the jump rings, the smaller jump rings. It's going to come off, and I usually don't put a lot when I'm doing this kind of design, maybe 1.25 inches on either side, because you don't want to highlight the chain, you want to highlight the bead work. So I'm going to hang a little bit of chain there, and then I'm going to go ahead and put some beads, and here's where the spacer beads come in. So let me go ahead and open this packet, and we'll put some spacer beads here in this arrangement, and then the 4mm bead, which is the next size up. So let me go ahead and open this packet, I guess some of them are already, it looks like it's been opened before. I've used these before somewhere. So let's go ahead and put a couple there. That would look nice. Okay, and then comes the large disco ball. It looks like a disco ball bead. I'm going to place that one. Actually, no, before that, I'm going to put one of these elongated beads, and then another one on the other side, and then the large disco ball bead. I think that's going to look really pretty. Then, how about, what do you think if we put a connector right there and then repeat the same pattern running up the necklace? I think that's going to look gorgeous. So, yeah, this looks like a nice design. So, why don't we go ahead and plan that? So one of the things that you need to check when you're putting components together is you need to check whether or not the headpin is going to be long enough. And I went ahead and put the beads on one of the headpins, which, you know, they're pretty large. These headpins, they're about 2 inches long. They're pretty large, but this is a very large component. And right off the bat, I can see that this headpin is not going to work. So when this happens, you need to change your plan, and you need to either change the bead arrangement or use wire. We could use wire, but generally speaking, when you're putting components together using wire, you don't want them to be too long because then, you know, they just don't hang properly. You can curve them in some cases, but this arrangement is, I think it's too big. So I need to come up with a different plan. Perhaps I need to remove the spacer beads. If I do that, then it might work better. So yeah, I think I'm going to do that. The other thing too, this bead here, this is actually almost a teardrop shape. I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't, but it has like one end is fatter than the other end. So the fatter end is going to go up against the disco ball bead, and the smaller end is going to go up against the 4mm bead. So that's just, you know, one way to do it. I mean, there's no right way or wrong way. It just looks aesthetically better when you do it like that. So yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and remove this little spacer bead, and if I do that, I think I'll have enough room to make loops on either side of this component. All right, so I removed the spacer beads, and the loops that I'm going to make are a little bit smaller than I like, but it's gonna work fine because I'm gonna attach some jump rings on each one to give the necklace a little bit more movement and more freedom. So we're gonna place this one here, and then we'll use this connector, this beautiful copper connector, at the end of that, and then another series of beads here, the same as this one, on running up the necklace, and then we'll go ahead and put the chain, and we'll end with the clasp. And that's one of the things that I forgot to grab. So now I have to go ahead and find myself either a toggle clasp or a lobster clasp, and I'm thinking for this one maybe a toggle clasp. Okay, I found myself a little copper colored toggle clasp. So we're going to use this one at the top, and let's continue to assemble our necklace. These are the jump rings that I'm going to use one of these jump rings for the toggle. I'm sorry, for the lobster clasp, and it has to be a decent size. 6mm is a pretty good size. 6 or 8. Probably 8. You know, 8 is just easier to put on. So here's one that's about 8mm. So we'll put that up there. That's going to be for the toggle. I'm sorry, why do I keep saying toggle? Lobster clasp. So that's at the top, and then we're going to put another one of these components on this side, and we're going to go ahead and assemble another one of these components with the beautiful beads. So here's the teardrop shaped bead, and let's get our disco ball out. we're gonna need 3 more. So let's get 3 more out. So we'll thread that one on. And then another teardrop. Make sure you put the fatter end up against the larger bead. And a 4mm bead. So we've got another component here. It's going to go up on that side, on the other side of that connector. And so let's do the side of the necklace. A 4mm, a teardrop, disco ball, another teardrop, and then another 4mm bead. And we'll put that on this side. Now remember the chain goes here, so we need a little bit of space there. Okay, and then the connector is going to go right there. And then we need another component with all those beads. So here's the 4mm, here's the teardrop, here's the disco ball, here's another teardrop, and one more 4mm bead. Okay, so that's going to go here. And that's about it. That's about it. So now all I got to do is cut the chain and start assembling everything. And we will use the one-step looper to, you know, put the loops on these components. Okay, now for the chain, like I mentioned earlier, I like to use about 1 inch to 1¼ inch of chain here. And then at the top, usually for a necklace like this, I like to use about 4 inches. But at this point, I don't know exactly how much chain I'm going to use at the top because I'm going to assemble everything, and then I'm going to kind of measure out how much more I need for the type of necklace that we're going to make. And this necklace is going to be between 18 and 20 inches, somewhere in that range. So I'm guessing normally when I do something like this, it's about 1¼ inch here and 4 inches, you know, up to the clasp. So let's go ahead and measure out the chain. Here's my ruler. If you can, yeah, there we go. All right, so the copper chain that I have is kind of a matte. It's a spool, and it's kind of a matte color, which is fine. I don't mind using matte because when you put shiny beads up against it, it looks really pretty. So let's go ahead and measure out 1¼ inches. So it can be 1¼ 1½. It's really up to you. So here we are. This is what we're looking at. So there are 2 ways to do this. You can use your snipper tool, or you can pry the links open. Usually, with a lot of chain, it comes already with you know, the link is already cut, so you can actually just pry it open. But since we're kind of in a hurry, I don't want to spend too much time. We're going to go ahead and snip it. So here we are. We got the first piece right here. Okay, and now rather than counting the links, you can do that if you want to, but what I do is I use some kind of a sharp object and I thread it through the first link, and then I thread the chain that's on the spool through it as well, and then I just kind of eyeball and figure out where it is that I need to cut. That way I don't spend too much time trying to count the links. So let me go ahead and cut the next piece. And now we have 2 pieces that are exactly the same length. And like I said, if you're really, you know, detail oriented, of course count the links. And especially, you know, if you're a new beader and you're worried about, you know, doing things just right, I recommend that you do count the links. Just take your time and go ahead and count the links. So here are my 2 pieces, and now I need 2 more pieces. Each one will be about 4 inches in length. So again, I'm going to go ahead and place my link up against my ruler, figure out where I'm gonna cut and go ahead and cut, and then I'm gonna use my bead reamer to thread what I just cut through the first link, and then thread the rest of the link that's on the spool through that, and then figure out where you need to cut next. And this is where, you know, this little bead reamer comes in really handy, so you don't have to count. I'm so impatient, and having to count each one just would drive me crazy. So yeah, so that's how I do this, and this is going to go at the top. And so let me go ahead and clear my things, and we'll come back. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is assemble the pendant. So let me go ahead and grab a head pin that's copper colored, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to use a head pin on this little bead that's going to hang below this one. And I like to use the one-step looper tool when I'm doing this kind of thing, because it's just so much quicker. So you put it in there, make sure that it goes through the little hole in the back, and then put it up against the tool, just like that, and give it a little squeeze, bend it slightly, and then I always, for some reason, maybe I'm not using it right, I always have to fiddle with a loop a little bit just to make sure that the loop closes. I don't know if you can see that, but it's not closing exactly like I want it to. So here it is. So then we're going to use some jump rings. So let me grab a jump ring. These are about 5 millimeter, right? So we're going to go ahead and open it just like that. And then we'll grab the little pendant bead that we just assembled, and we'll thread the jump ring through one of the loops on this component, just like that, and close it up. Okay, make sure the jump ring is nice and closed, and here it is. Okay, now we're going to get another jump ring and then open it up just like that, and thread this smaller bead onto, or component I should say, onto the pendant. So here it is, and there's my cat. It never fails. He loves to visit when I'm working on my bead tray. Close this up.
The sun is the star at the center.
There we go, just like that. And here we go. And here we are. We have our beautiful focal pendant ready to go. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. So let's go ahead and assemble the rest of the necklace, and I'll remove my cap. Next, we're going to go ahead and hang the chain. So here's the next jump ring. And let's go ahead and open this one up. Whoops, I didn't quite open that one. Let me try again. All right, here it is. And this loop is big enough to accommodate 2 jump rings, one on either side. So we're gonna go ahead and hang this one here along with the chain, the first piece of chain, the smaller piece. Close it up. So now we have the chain on this side. And let me go ahead and grab another jump ring and open this one up, just like that. Put it on the other side of the loop and hang the other piece of chain. Oh, it's so hard to do this on camera because normally I put the work real close to my face. So whenever I'm filming, I end up having to put the work a little bit too far away for my comfort. All right, so here it is, and we'll hang that piece of chain onto this one. And let's see if I can close it up without dropping it. There we go. All right, so now we have the pendant and the 2 pieces of chain. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is assemble these components. So let me go ahead and take the head pin out. And for this one, I'm gonna use a smaller size one-step looper. I have 2 sizes. This is the smaller size, and it's not marked, but I know the loops are much smaller. Perhaps they're 2mm, 3mm loops. And you can just go ahead, you don't have to thread it through the hole when you're doing one end of the head pin. You can just put it right there, give it a squeeze, and that'll cut off the head pin piece of the pin. So now we have a loop, and it's a little bit smaller loop than the other one, but that's okay, because we need space, because we have a lot of beads to thread on. So let's go ahead and put back our beads, the 4mm, the teardrop, the crystal ball, the other teardrop, whoops, let me do that again, and then the 4mm, and let's see if there's enough room to do another loop. I don't think there is. I think I'm gonna have to do this one by hand, which is fine. I've done that before. It's just that I'm kind of lazy and I like using the looper. So you just basically kink it to a 90-degree angle, and then you can use round nose pliers or bail making pliers, which is what I have here. Actually, no, I'm gonna have to use the round nose pliers because I'm gonna make a smaller loop than usual. So here we go. Put it at the end and turn it until the loop touches the wire, and make sure that your loops are even with each other. In other words, that they need to be facing exactly the same direction. I think mine are a little bit off, so let me go ahead and straighten it out just a touch, and here we go. Here's our first component. Okay, and so from here, very simply, you would just attach it to the chain. So let's go ahead and do that since we're on a roll. So here's another jump ring, and open it up. Now you can use jump rings, or you can just attach it right to the chain itself. But since these are so small, these loops, and I want the necklace to have a little bit of freedom so it doesn't get all kinked up, the jump rings help with that. So let me go ahead and close it up, and we have our first component. Very pretty. All right, so let's go ahead and do the next one. Actually, why don't we move right along? We're going to attach this beautiful copper connector link. So let's get another jump ring for that, and then open it up, attach it, and then attach the connector to that. And these are 2-sided, which is nice, so I don't have to worry about making sure that it's facing the right direction. Close it up, and so here we go. This is what we have so far. Okay, pretty. So now we're gonna go ahead and assemble another one of these. So for that, we're gonna go ahead and remove the beads, do our first link, get rid of that head pin, or the head of the pin. There's our first loop. Make sure the loop is nice and straight and it's touching the rest of the pin. And now let's thread our beads, the 4mm, the teardrop, the disco ball, another teardrop, and then another 4mm bead. All right, so here we have it, and now we're going to go ahead and kink the end of the pin, and using the round nose pliers, we'll make another little loop at the end, tiny loop, turn it until it touches the pin. Make sure that it's facing the same direction as the other one, and that way it'll look right. Okay, so there it is. And now we're going to attach that to the connector. So let's grab a jump ring, open it up, connect it to the link, and then connect the component that we just made to the jump ring, close it up, and here we go. So we basically have one side of the necklace finished, except of course the chain, the larger chain goes here, but I need more jump rings. So let me go ahead and get some more jump rings so we can continue. And my cat keeps wanting to get on my bead tray today for some reason. He just came back from the groomers today, so whenever he comes back from the groomers, he's a little bit clingy and doesn't want to leave my side, understandably so. Let me go ahead and remove him and I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back. So let's go ahead and assemble our next component, which is going to come off this side. So let's remove the beads. Get my one-step looper and get rid of the head of the pin, just like that. And then we'll thread on the 4mm, then the teardrop, and the disco ball, and the other teardrop bead, and the 4mm bead. All right, so here we are. And now we're going to go ahead and form the other loop. So get your pliers, give it a little kink, get your round nose pliers, loop it around. Make sure that the loops are even with each other, facing the same direction, I should say. So I usually use my flat nose pliers for this, making sure that they're both facing the same direction. So here it is, and we're going to need two. So let's go ahead, since we're doing it using the looper. Let's go ahead and do the other one. Put it in the looper. Get rid of the head of the pin. Make sure you bend it a little so that the loop is right where you want it. Okay. You want to make sure that it's not a P shape. Okay. All right, and now put on our 4mm bead. Put on the teardrop, the disco ball, the other teardrop. I think that's the wrong way. Let's do it this way. Yeah. And then, where's the other one? Here's the 4mm. Okay. There we have this one. And now we're gonna kink the pin so we can form our loop. 90-degree angle, round nose pliers, make the little loop. Okay. Make sure that the loops are facing the same way. And here we go. All right, so now we have our two components, and we're going to go ahead and attach them. So let's go ahead and grab a jump ring. Okay. Open it up. Grab the end of the chain, thread it onto the last link, attach the component, close up your jump ring. Okay. Okay, there it is. And now we need another jump ring. Open it up, attach it to the component, and attach the beautiful filigree connector link onto that, the jump ring, and then close it up. Whoops, close it up. So we have this, okay, and now we need the final component. Grab another jump ring, open it up, attach it to the connector link, and attach the component to the jump ring and close it up. So here we go. This is what we have. Okay, so the only thing left to do now is to attach the chain at the top. So let's go ahead and grab a jump ring, open it up, and attach it to the loop at the end of this component, and then we'll attach the link of the chain to the jump ring and close it up. And there's that side. All right, let's do the other side. Grab another jump ring, open it up, attach it to the component, attach the end of the chain to the jump ring, and close it up. Excuse me. All right, so now we have the long chain attached to the necklace. It's looking pretty good so far. So now the only thing that's left is the lobster clasp. All right, so let's go ahead and grab another jump ring. Open it up. Attach it to the end of the chain. Attach the lobster clasp to that. And close it up. So that piece is attached. Okay, now you have a choice. You can either attach the same small jump ring to the other side and then the large jump ring, or you can just attach the large jump ring right to the chain. Let's just go ahead and do that so we can get finished with this necklace. So we'll go ahead and open the large jump ring. The other thing you can do is add an extension chain so that whoever you give it to has the option to wear it shorter or longer. But we're not going to do that today. We're just going to do a simple lobster clasp. And the extension chain is very simple. You just get another piece of chain, or maybe something that has bigger links that's copper colored, and attach it to the end of this chain. But like I said, we're not going to do that. So here we go. Here it is. Let's go ahead and open it up and connect it. Close it. And I am going to go ahead and put this on a necklace display so we can take a close look, and I will measure it. I'll be right back. Okay, so here is the beautiful necklace that we made together. I just absolutely love it. It turned out really, really nice. I did measure it. It's about 20 inches. So it's a very nice length. And let me get a close up so you can take a look at it. There's the beautiful pendant piece that we made, the focal piece. And the chain and the components and the chain at the top. So anyway, I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out, and I hope that you enjoyed making it with me. It was a lot of fun. So anyway, yeah, and I hope that you learned a little bit about the process and how to get started and how to put things together. It's really easy once you do it a few times. I think the most difficult part of this process is getting the right beads and the right components together. I think that's probably the most difficult part of it. But once you do that, then it's just a matter of assembling the whole thing, and as you can see, you end up with a beautiful product. So yes, I'm really happy with this one. This is one that I'm definitely going to wear. So anyway, thanks a lot for helping me with this and for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I really appreciate. I'm a new YouTuber. I've only been doing this for about 5 months. Not the jewelry, the actual filming. I've been doing jewelry for several years, but actually filming, I've only been doing it for about 5 months. So whatever subscribers I can get, I really appreciate. And thanks for all the new subscribers that that I've acquired this past week. I really appreciate it. And yeah, so give me a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks again. Bye.